Hi guys, I'm back again with some more stories for you today. Let's go to the first one, about OP, whose sister is threatening to sue her because their grandma left all her inheritance to OP only and nothing to the sister. But grandma had a secret reason for that, which OP's sister didn't know about. Well, I guess there's no secret that time does not reveal. Listen to the story to find out, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. For some background, I never knew my sister was adopted growing up. Sometimes we felt my grandma slightly favored me, but no one ever thought she treated sis badly. I lost my job last year due to virus. Since grandma was high risk and needed someone to help her run errands, we agreed that I would temporarily move in and take care of her while I got back on my feet. While staying with grandma, she started telling me some family secrets. One day we were casually talking about some trinkets of hers I liked, and she said she would leave them to me. All of a sudden, she told me only I would be in her will, and not my sis, because she was adopted and not our blood relative. I was so shocked by the info. I just told her it's up to her since it's her money, and I have no right to tell her what to do, even if I did feel bad for sis. My mom admitted sis was adopted and begged me to keep it a secret. I didn't tell my mom about grandma's will since I didn't even know if that was even confirmed, and also because I thought it would cause more drama. After talking to mom, I decided to just keep my mouth shut and see what happens. Grandma ultimately passed a few months ago, and her will was exactly like she told me. Sis got a few symbolic items, but money-wise, she basically got nothing. I got quite a sum since my dad had no sibling, and he passed away years ago. I was even considering giving sis some money since I felt bad, but before I could even make a plan, sis already blew up at me. She accused me of somehow brainwashing grandma into giving me everything while I was living with her. That pissed me off, so I just told her to duck off and didn't give her a dime. Then for the next few weeks, I saw her post passive-aggressively on social media about what a snake I was. When people, including our mutual friends, asked in the comments, she would say, "Let me PM you." So I can only imagine what she told them about me. Finally, last week she contacted me, again telling me to admit that I did something to grandma. She then told me she had found herself a lawyer and she was going to sue me for manipulating grandma over the will before her death. At this point, I was sick of it, so I just screamed at her that grandma told me she wasn't in the will because she was adopted, so she can duck off with all that BS. Then I blocked her everywhere. She apparently confronted my mom, and mom called to curse me out for telling sis she was adopted. They also now think since I knew about grandma's plan and didn't say anything, it counted as some sort of manipulation too. I'm so tired of this drama. At least please tell me if I was the a-hole. Edited to add, since so many think I wanted the money all for myself and would not share the money with sis, I had planned to discuss sharing the money with her without telling her the truth. But her immediate reaction was to accuse me of a heinous crime, which is when we fell out. I've never given our family a reason to doubt my integrity, and I was honest with my plan, so don't go assuming my intentions. I think the only person who is not in the wrong here is OP's sister. Okay, maybe apart from her repeatedly taking the drama to social media and for accusing OP of manipulating grandmother. But she's reacting out of anger, and since she was without the full facts, she came to the only logical conclusion she could come up with. I think it's awful that grandma so clearly never fully accepted OP's sister as family, and she failed to hide it. I hope OP's sister contests the will and is awarded money. I hope she meant it when she said she had retained a lawyer. Adoption makes you just as much family in the eyes of the law as being born into it does. Let's see if the community has the same opinion as me on the matter. IOXXX87 says, "Your sister got ducked over, and her world turned upside down. And you're surprised she's lashing out at those who lied to her for so long, after being told she isn't real family and cut out of the will? Why wouldn't she think she's being lied to now? You're the a-hole, and your family as well." Edited to add, all the people acting like you'd be just fine getting mysteriously cut out of grandma's will, while the unemployed golden child gets a good chunk, crack me up. Who Fears Death says, "Everyone sucks here. This is most certainly not how you tell your sister she was adopted. She was behaving badly about money. Your grandma for caring enough about DNA to leave someone out of the will. Your mother for lying. Literally everyone here is the a-hole." Purple Womat says, "You're the a-hole. I'm going to go with the unpopular opinion here, I think. In every way that mattered, this girl was and is your sister. To find out that she was not only adopted, but not considered real family in this way, must be indescribably horrible. You could have warned your mom. You could have asked your lawyer to split the money and not tell her. You could have asked your grandma to reconsider. You could have told your sister that you hated grandma's decision and would split the money because you love her. There are so many things that you could have done. You wanted the trinkets. You wanted the money. I agree that you didn't brainwash grandma, but you did allow this hateful thing to happen without doing a blind thing to stop it. You're the a-hole. A bit of backstory. I, 33 male, come from a large religious family, and nearly as soon as I turned 18, I escaped. Since then, my wife and I see them for large gatherings and such, but we're kept at arm's length. One of those siblings I largely lost contact with is Julie, 29 female. She got married young to a man our parents loved. They had 3 kids and seemed to be playing happy family. When she was pregnant with the 4th, she found out that he cheated on her and did something so disgusting I can't say it here. I found out through another sibling and immediately saw red. I hadn't really talked to Julie in years, but she's still my sister, and I see him as a monster. Anyone she went to stay with would tell her to go back to him. Meanwhile, my wife and I do well financially. We agreed that we had to do what we could to get them out. Somehow I got through to her, and she and her kids moved in with us about 2 years ago. Obviously, I didn't expect them to be here this long. I gave her time because of the baby, but I had to ask her to get a job. My wife and I have good jobs, but 5 extra mouths to feed is a lot. Julie has basically no education, however, plus childcare. Okay, money is tight, but we can make it work. She at least did stuff around the house. However, her divorce has been dragging out for years, as she keeps wanting to make up, then changing her mind and running back. X and his family are manipulative, and Julie still largely has the beliefs of religion we were raised in. She cries frequently about her fear that she will go to hell if she gets divorced and such. I just try to encourage her to fully leave the best I can. However, I recently reached the breaking point. Julie came to me saying that she's pregnant again. Apparently, they're still married enough to sneak off during his visitation with the kids. She wants to give him another chance and move her family back in with him. She's tried to go back before, but this time with another baby in the mix, she seems serious. I felt exhausted at the very idea of doing this whole thing all over again, and simply told her that if she goes back to him, she will no longer be able to come to me for support. I'll see her at weddings and holidays just like I do with the others, but she'll no longer be welcome at my home. She insisted that he's really going to change, and so she'll never need to come back anyway. They're moving out next week. I thought that was fine, but my wife is furious at me. She insists that I'm abandoning a woman and innocent children who need to be saved, and that we both know he hasn't changed. I truly don't know how to feel because she's not wrong, but I simply can't do this same cycle with no end in sight. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I won't help her anymore? There's only so much you can do. OP's sister is an adult and has the right to make her own decisions, even terrible ones. I think OP has gone above and beyond, but OP's sister isn't going to change, nor is her husband. I wouldn't be offering financial support again. OP needs to prioritize his own family and also tell his wife that he can't keep his sister against her will. Let's hear the community's opinion. Volcanic Equation 2985. Not the a-hole. You're setting boundaries, and you have every right to do so. Sometimes putting your foot down is the only way to stop enabling a toxic situation. I hope your sister sees the light and leaves this guy for good. Too many users, says. Not the a-hole. She's obviously stuck in a very aggressive situation, and you did everything you could to help her. But she can't truly be helped until she's ready to cut him off. And you have to protect yourself and have your boundaries. Long story short, my older sister has always been mentally aggressive and manipulative. I never realized this until I moved out and started a family of my own. Over the past few years, she's insulted me, my wife, my job, accused us of keeping our children from the rest of the family, accused me of manipulating her kids into thinking she was a bad mom, etc. She'll talk crap behind everyone else's back, but will act like nothing's wrong and that she's the perfect person to your face. I finally got tired of it and cut her out of our family because we couldn't handle the stress of trying to manage the relationship between us, her, and the rest of my family. My mom has always taken her side because she twists everything we say into making her the victim. Last week, I was told by my mom that a large mass was found in my sister's midsection and that she was showing clear signs of ovarian cancer. My mom asked me to reach out to her, so I did. In my message to her, I told her that I forgave her, still loved her, and that she's still family, that I hoped her situation turns out for the best, and that under no circumstances would I ever wish harm on her. I also told her that I'm not obligated to mend our relationship, but I was open to it as long as her actions could match her words, and that it would take a long time for me to even attempt to trust her, even if she did end up changing her ways. Instead of responding back, evidently, she chopped up that message and sent it out of context back to my mom, who then berated me for talking that way to her when she could be dying. I feel like I'm in a lose-lose-lose situation. If I kiss her butt, I've completely lost my morals and strong stance for my family. If I don't respond at all, I don't care. If I respond the way I did, I'm an insensitive a-hole. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I sent my mom the full message after being berated, only for her to respond that the message didn't sound forgiving or caring, which is what your sister needs right now. My sister also reached out about 2 weeks ago, assuming around when she was first notified about the issue by the doctor. Her message followed a pretty typical pattern that she does, of responding about 2 months of her being crappy to someone, then acting as if she hasn't said anything wrong, and that she hasn't done anything warranting an apology. OP's sister is for sure in the wrong here for everything else. But I think OP's message was too much and was too focused on OP's relationship with her. Like, if I had cancer and an estranged sibling, I wouldn't find it helpful to get a message of support that was all about wanting me to apologize and a performance plan for rehabbing our relationship. OP doesn't need to forgive her. OP's mother is out of line there. Madague says, not the a-hole. Sorry your sister is a vindictive piece of trash and your mom is a total sucker for her. Send your mom a screenshot of the whole message you sent your sister, await her response, and react accordingly. If she defends your sister, I'd cut her out of your life if I were you. Tough Dog 18 says, not the a-hole, but your mother is as much of a problem as your sister. Why on earth is your mother allowing this? I have adult children. I would never tolerate them running to me as though they were little kids in a fight calling for their mommy. The only reason your sister even does this is because your mother supports her. I'm sorry. You feel like you're in a lose-lose situation because you are. Your sister needs to put you down to your mother to feel better about herself in a twisted and pathological way, and your mother agrees to this. There's nothing you can do here, so I'd recommend doing whatever you think is right and whatever you feel you won't regret 10 years from now. DC Number Nerd says, everyone sucks here. You used your text as a way to deliver a negative message, so it would have been better to say nothing at all if you really weren't feeling it. Your sister also shouldn't have used your words out of context. I, 24 female, had my 32 male boyfriend move in 2 months ago. He lost his job, so I've been taking care of all expenses, including my cat, Tuna. Everything has been fine. He's a bit messy, but otherwise I'm able to take care of the brunt of everything, and am the full caretaker of Tuna. 2 weeks ago, Tuna got sick, and I took her to the vet. She was all right, but she needed to be on a few pricey medications. When I informed my boyfriend, he told me I should just get rid of her because he didn't like her anyway. I was confused because I could pay for this fine, and he always seemed like he liked her. I told him that it was weird he was acting like this, and I told him we'd be financially fine because it was still enough for all the expenses to be taken care of. He freaked, saying if we spent money on the cat, he wouldn't be able to go on his week-long trip with his friends. I was confused because he said before that his friends were planning to pay for most of the trip, only having to cover food himself. He told me that he still wanted money to do other stuff during the trip, so he was going to take more than he needed so he could enjoy himself. I reminded him that this was my money, and he promised he'd start the process of finding a job before the trip. After I was explaining my side and how I needed my cat's medication, and I couldn't fund his trip when I was already funding 2 people and a cat, he blew up on me, telling me this was his one chance at a break with his friends. I felt hurt because the stress of the expenses and taking care of my cat has been a lot, so I decided to cut the conversation short and say we could talk in the morning. That morning I went to work as usual after taking care of Tuna, but when I came back, she was nowhere to be found. I freaked out after hours of searching inside and out, while my boyfriend sat on the couch watching TV saying Tuna was fine. I put out flyers for her that night, and the next morning my neighbor said she saw my boyfriend letting her out. After the call, I freaked out on him, saying how could he do this? I still don't know where she is, and she could be dead. He told me it was for the best, and we'd be able to have more money coming in. I yelled at him that if he bothered to look for a job for once, we'd have more money coming in, and my cat wasn't the cause of it. He got pissed at me and told me it was my fault the cat's missing anyway. If I just listened and gave her away, he wouldn't have had to do it. I told him he has to leave and stay with his parents, since they'd offered before, but he couldn't stay here, and we were over. After that, he left to stay with his parents, and I packed his stuff. I got a call from his mom saying I was being horrible because he just lost his job. Tuna is happy and getting better, but I feel like I went too hard on my boyfriend because multiple people have told me I was in the wrong. I don't feel like I was at fault completely, but I could be fully biased, and I need to know. Am I the a-hole? Wandering Aimlessly 9 says, "You did not go hard on him. Block him. Block his family. They're gaslighting you, not the a-hole. Run, run, run. He's a lazy bum and taking advantage of you, and then blaming you because you don't make enough to fund his life of not working. You deserve better. Run." Aspen Caspian says, "Not the a-hole. Who the hell throws out a cat because they don't give you their money? You've been basically taking care of him money-wise, and from what it sounds, he hasn't even tried to get a job. Also, 24 and 32? It's giving groomer. He's 32 and making the recently an adult girl take care of him. You need to block him and get out. He sounds terrifying. He sounds creepy as hell." Avatar Julius says, "Not the a-hole. Keep running. This guy is 32 and acting like a child. His plan was to mooch off you and try to remove your cat from the situation.